actually pretty good.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun. Welcome back to Crooked Spine Show, my audience, my friends. This is 2023, our first talk for this year. We're getting started with Mr. Jean-Paul Anderson. He runs a directory of doctors for accidents. The reason I want him on the show is how do you find a right doctor for you? Maybe a chiropractor, physical therapist, orthopedist, a spine specialist if need be after an accident. How do you find the right directory to go by? My problem is basically when you're in a car accident, when you have pain, you're going to be sometimes desperate to call the billboard, or back in my day, go to the phone book also too. Here are specific doctors in his directory that specialize in helping your full recovery and avoid my biggest concern is long-term pain from scar tissues that can sometimes be permanent. Let's get away from there. Okay, we want to find the high standard providers and so chiropractic specialists too that get you there and keep you there. So at that point, his directory allows the service to happen. Let's find out how he picks his doctors, how they work to have that high standard of care and help maintain that. So Jean-Paul, tell me how you got into this.
Well, my family has been involved in this industry for many years. I'd say over 25 years. It never really interested me. And the way actually I got involved was I was involved in an accident back in
Mm,
2014.
okay.
And at the time, I was a project manager for a commercial real estate company. And, I basically got into this accident and could not work anymore for about,
Mm,
sorry about that.
no problem. No problem.
Is me?
You're good. You're good. You're good. Yep.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I mean, it basically completely, changed my life. I was really badly injured. I didn't know where to go. I looked on all these directories, and it was just very difficult to find doctors that treated you for, car accidents. And so I got into the industry with the idea to make it as easy as possible. But not only that, but to have somebody to talk to actually help you answer some of the questions that a lot of victims in a car accident have, whether you're at fault or not. I believe that everybody should get treatment after a car accident. I mean, we spend most of our time and day inside of a car and not realize the liability that it is. And that is why these insurance companies, charge such a premium, because it's such a big, accidents just happen. It just does.
And
Yeah.
my concern is that a lot of it is yes, as premiums go up and up and up because there's a higher risk. If we
Yes.
all
Good.
drove well, that'd be fine. We'd have a lower insurance. Maybe not. I don't know. I think too
Right.
many people have to pay their Jaguar bill, so that's my own personal view. But, but a lot of it is how do we lower our personal risk of injury? It's hard to do, right? I can't control the person in front of me, the person behind me when I'm driving, the person on the sides when they're on their phone, and in the morning if they're commuting a long distance, they might be shaving in the car, might be doing their makeup, they might
Yeah,
be eating, might
exactly.
be doing I don't know what they're doing in the car. So
Right.
my job is control what I can control. And if I'm in an accident, which is an accident, it's called unintentional. How do
Right.
I get the right recovery? So, in going over your situation, your personal situation, how did you figure out the system to get the right health care? And how long did it take you? What was the learning curve on that?
So I've always been very good at strategy. I'm a big
Mhm.
time chess player.
Awesome.
And the way I kind of set it up was, from the beginning to, the end, to the, following up with either patients or clients and making sure that they're, not missing their treatments, or making sure that it's not too far away from their home. So, to answer your question, when someone calls us, the first thing we ask them, if they're badly injured, they need to go to an emergency room or an urgent care.
Good.
But if they can wait, 3 4 hours, we usually get them scheduled the same day. And the
Wow.
way we do it is we provide them with at least two or three options of different providers, and then we ask them to kind of do their due diligence and, to check, the star ratings. And, nowadays you can find out almost everything online. And
Hmm.
so Yelp and Google provide all these different, star ratings and reviews, and so you can look over all that stuff. We've tried our best to pick the very best of the doctors that we have on our network. And the way we did that is by asking them a variety of different questions, kind of running a background check, and then of course making sure that their mindset is the same as our mindset, and of course the attorney's mindset as well.
What I like is you have a sense of urgency, which is phenomenal for healing, to make sure you get the right care as soon as possible. You're
Absolutely.
you're helping them avoid that. Sometimes it may take they call an office that maybe been their doctor before an accident and realize now they don't take car accident cases. They have to find somebody else. And it may be sometimes maybe a Friday or a Saturday. You don't know what's going to happen. And when you
Yes.
have that sense of, okay, with your 4 hours, I'm going to give you 3 doctors that can go to right away. These are high quality doctors that we already screened out for you. Let's get you the care so there's less waiting period. Does it also help the patient, the client's anxiety also?
Yes, I think that when they speak to us, you can kind of tell it goes from them feeling really stressed out and not sure what's going on and what they're doing to having more clarity and just feeling like, oh, I can call this number and someone's going to pick up and they're going to help us, and
Good.
they're going to provide some information. There's certain things that we can't provide, like legal advice and, medical advice, but we try our best to answer as many of the questions that they do have, and then from there we try to guide them on a direction of where, which option to go with.
And I think that's all they really want to know. Can I be taken care of? Can I feel calm through this process? Because if they don't know where to go, they may call their insurance company that their owner, the owner's friend, and all of a sudden they get the runaround that way. What is your experience with I want to say the downside of calling your auto insurance company first?
So during my accident, that's exactly what I did, and of course they didn't know that, where to. They had no guidance whatsoever. I mean, it was just, let's do a statement and tell us what happened in the accident. And it's like, well, the thing is, before I do that statement, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm not feeling well. I need to see a provider, or I need to get some type of therapy because it's very painful. And so the number one thing is to keep in mind is to actually go and seek treatment, whether it's the same day of the accident or the second day of the accident. Calling your insurance company is not going to give you any answers. They'll probably tell you to maybe go see a physician or go to the hospital or maybe a primary care doctor, but they try their best not to say those things because they know that, I think at the end, they know that they're going to be paying for that. So at the end, it is a business. Insurance companies have every right to defend themselves as well.
Mhm.
And so, you they don't really give you any guidance. It's kind of.
And even though it seems unethical, which I think it is, a lot of it is you have to do due diligence. And the problem is
Yes.
you may want to go to urgent care, emergency room, phenomenal, that's fine. Problems you call your primary doctor and they go, well, you're an accident, I can't see you. You're no
Right.
longer someone under our care because now your auto insurance is supposed to take over that, your medical, your pain and suffering, if you want to call it that, to make sure you get the care that way, even though as a normal layperson, you're not going to know that.
Right. Yeah, that actually happened to me. I went to my primary care doctor and he had no clue what to do. I mean, it made me feel worse because, here you are, going to your primary care doctor thinking that he's going to give you some answers and some kind of solution. And it happened completely the opposite. He had no idea what or how to do it. He just told me to maybe seek counsel, to seek an attorney, which is
Mhm.
what I did. And that process, even in itself, is very, very difficult because accidents happen. We never have time to interview as many attorneys as we want to, so that we make an educated, decision on who to hire. And that was all tough. I mean, all of it is very, very difficult.
Well,
And so we
but
really need that.
it's not because of that. When you're in pain, now you're desperate for someone to help you. And when you're in
Exactly.
that mindset, which is tough, if someone's in pain in my office, I'll have them and I'll say, "Hey, can you bring in a loved one that cares about you to help you understand what I'm going to tell you?" Because when you're in pain, that perception is a lot more different. And if you're getting a runaround from your medical doctor, from your insurance company, then you don't know who to trust.
Exactly.
And I think
Exactly.
and by having someone lined up ready to go just in case allows you to have that trust built in. So it's like you said, a step-by-step process. Boom, I call this number, boom, they take care of me, they guide me the right way.
Yeah, I think it's important, now that you mentioned that, if anyone's out obviously listening,
Mhm.
the important thing is obviously when picking a insurance company to, to cover you in case of an accident. I think it's also important that while you're doing that, to also maybe interview a few attorneys,
Good.
and seek whether or not you think they're the right fit for you. Because some people, there's clients out there that maybe call once or twice a month to a law firm just to follow up. There's also clients out there that call every single week or almost every other day or almost right after their appointment. And so it depends on the style of attorneys or office that you want to hire when hiring an attorney. There's just different choices, and so you definitely want to do your diligence and make sure that you're working with somebody that's
And
reputable.
not that your directory is focused on attorneys, But what
Right.
are 2 or 3 things that you look for when you're talking to attorneys that help, if you want to call it, build trust? So if someone, hey, what's going on, John Paul? I have an accident. Who do I call? What are 3 or 4 things that you would kind of want to kind of pinpoint as a way to build trust with that attorney?
So the number one, just coming off the top of my head, would be if an attorney provides you their cell phone number,
Mhm.
that's a huge, huge plus because now you have a way to contact them directly within seconds, whether that's a phone call or a text. The second one would be I would ask them, what is their style of carrying a case? How do they manage the case? Will a person be contacting me every other week or every month? Like I would kind of want to know,
Good.
how it is that they're going to carry out my case
Mhm.
when choosing an attorney. Yeah.
Good. A lot of it is you're building that, and having someone's cell phone number allows you to build that trust. Say, look, if accidents don't happen 9 to 5, sorry,
Right.
okay,
Yep.
they happen on the weekends, they happen during holidays, they happen sometimes in the evening after work on the way home. So
Yep.
can I call and turn in the weekend? I have my patients, I have attorneys that I work with sometimes, and I have their number. Hey, can I have my patient call you? It's a Sunday afternoon. And same
Yeah.
thing with me too. I have attorneys that call me on a Sunday. I'm playing golf. I'm like, hey, I'm going, yeah, sure. Give me about 5 minutes. Let's break away. And just to give, and I think just to give that client, that patient, future patient looking for recovery, that peace of mind.
Yep.
I think
Exactly.
that's the key. That peace of mind. Okay, look, I may not be able to get the paperwork signed today, but now I know I'm with the right person.
Exactly. Yep.
Perfect. And then going to your doctors you work specifically, how do you screen them out? What's your process screening them out?
So we have a set of
Without giving away all your trade secrets. Sorry.
No, yeah, that's why I'm trying to make it as like general as possible. But, we have a set of questions that we like to ask them,
Okay.
very specific. We've been doing this for some time now,
Mhm.
and so we've learned a lot. And we have these questions, and so we ask them, and then we also try to ask them a variety of different questions that so that we kind of get how they think and their mindset. The one thing is that a lot of the physicians that we work with are very open to negotiations
Good.
when cases settle, and that is extremely important because at the end of the day, medical bills, rise very, very quickly in any type of treatment with involving an accident or personal injury.
Mhm.
So we do our, we vet each physician according to whatever questions it is that we have. And so that kind of gives us a good idea of whether or not this would be a doctor that we want to work with, or, if he's just not the right fit for our directory.
It's almost there's a word called fair, and
Yeah, of
sometimes fair is not where your billing is. It's about what they can close the
course.
case for. Because sometimes the client, the patient, doesn't disclose exactly what type of insurance they have, how bad the accident was. I had someone come in; they wanted 3 months of care, and finding out they basically were not even sideswiped in a parking lot, but just the mirror was dented. The side mirror was dented. I'm like, I don't know how to help you, sir. So a lot of it is. Do you also
So
look for a doctor's experience with car accident cases?
yes, very important.
Okay.
Yes, 100%. A lot of doctors out there, there's a lot of different groups that you can
Mhm.
be involved with, a lot of different conferences that a doctor can go to get educated, to learn, and to also get more. I forget what the credibility is. The C,
Yeah,
their
the
credits
continuing
out there.
education courses, the
There you
specialized
go.
ones.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, yes. And so there's a lot of information out there. And of
Mhm.
course, we actually started a podcast ourselves called the
Good.
D4A Personal Injury Show, where
Nice.
we interview a bunch of physicians and a bunch of doctors, and just kind of it helps, I think, educate all
Mhm.
of us as a community. And it brings, value by learning from each other and stuff like that. So it's something that we're enjoying a lot, definitely.
I like sharing education. Again, this is a podcast show too. It helps people understand how to, one thing, run their own life. It gives them the due
Yeah.
diligence to go, look, if I had this happen to me, I know what to do. And I know how to pick a doctor. I know how to go through a service if need be for one too. At that point, people like education. Sorry,
Yep.
and having a podcast format allows them to learn either on their phone, on when they're walking the dog, going for a run, even in their car.
Yep.
That makes
Yep.
sense. Good,
Yeah.
good, good.
Yeah.
And with screening out people too, do you look at certain areas? You said mentioned you try to pick up the best doctors per location or geographically. How does that work for you?
Yeah, what we try to do is, wherever we get the most requests from, or if we
Mhm.
even get requests from in different cities, or if someone calls us looking for a doctor and it's a city that we don't have,
Mhm.
we try our best to look for a doctor in that area, and we'll, interview a couple of different physicians, and then from there we, make our decisions. They make their decisions, and um, it's it's very interesting how PI works, and how when you're involved in an accident, whatever city you're in,
Mhm.
there's always going to be treating providers that are out there, and the majority of them are chiropractors. Those are probably, I would say, hand in hand, like yourself. Um, those are the number one physician, or the number one physician that any person goes and sees. Um, so that's kind of where everybody wants to start, is with a chiropractor, and then the chiropractor will kind of guide you and tell you whether you need a pain management, a neurologist, what type of injury he believes you have, and so he'll ask for a second consult. So it kind of all just, whittles down and plays into, professional medical advice.
What's finding your health team in that area, and what we do, we work with pain management doctors, we work with orthos, work with neuros, and that may be part of your screening out tool, but also work with attorneys that, like you mentioned, we screen them out too. We want to make sure we're working with good attorneys that actually are ethical, that are looking to help the patient first, and not worried about just the bottom line right off the bat.
Yeah, there's been a couple of things we've heard. I mean, because we spend a lot of time going to conferences and all sorts of fun stuff in our industry. And so there's been things where we hear that there's certain law firms that are running mills, I believe they're called,
Mhm.
or, that are just bringing in as many cases as they possibly can. And then, when dropping the ball at the end, with basically sending drop letters to all the different doctors saying, hey, this case dropped, or hey, policy limits are not there, and, whatever other terminology there is. But yeah.
I have a staff member. She's been here for a while now. She's my inside paralegal. So
Uh-huh.
any attorney wants to work with us, they go through her first. She has to screen them out.
Very
A lot
smart.
of it is sometimes, cases will sit forever, and they'll want
Yeah.
to settle pennies on the dollar for you. And as the chiropractor, you've done 90% of the care.
Yeah.
Or like you mentioned, sometimes we're trying to find the attorney to close the case because they're no longer, they've changed their number, they're not answering our phone calls, or what happened in the past, and that's what happens now as much. Sometimes the insurance company will pay out the patient, and the patient keeps the money, and all of a sudden no one gets paid anything.
I've heard of that before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I've
funny
heard.
now, Jean Paul. It wasn't funny when I don't get the check.
Yeah, I bet. I
Can't pay
bet.
my own bills, my friend.
I know. I know. Listen, I can only imagine. I mean, I've heard the stories, patient receives, a check, and then they think it's for something else, and they cash
Oh,
that, they spend it, and then it's
yeah.
like, oh my God, how does everybody get paid? And, they don't realize it, but eventually they give back the money and stuff.
Well,
Uh,
I have a guy named Guido. He goes after him and goes knocks on their front door, and they usually
oh
take.
boy. Oh boy. Is he Italian?
It sounds Italian, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. And a lot of it is, can we, as a chiropractor, as an attorney, work together? Again, what's the priority? Get the patient better. Get them better as fast as possible. Get them to the neuro if need be, fast as possible. MRI as fast as possible. Because I worry about is scar tissue. If scar
Yes.
tissue settles in with as many, I want to say, hours it takes to get treatment, at
Mhm.
that point there's a longer treatment plan. And now insurance companies will start blocking out the actual treatment plan. And now sometimes a longer recovery period, now they can't get better. So
Exactly.
like your service provides, you're providing not only peace of mind, but fast treatment, fast service. So you get
Yes.
the right care as soon as possible so they can get themselves healthy back to their normal life as soon as possible too.
Yep, absolutely. 100%. And
Right?
that's the thing too. It's like being involved in an accident is horrible. I mean, the pain levels and the stress and the anxiety and just doubting yourself, like, am I going to get better? Am I not going to get better? Is this going to work? Is this not going to work? I mean, all those things pay such a huge toll on a person's body and well-being. And so getting all the right treatment, like you're saying, as quick as possible and getting back to normal is a huge, it's just very important. Yeah.
When someone gets to the point where they don't get the right care, because I have someone like this right now. She had a car accident last September 2021, more than a year ago. Took her about 5 months to get the care she needed from a chiropractor. Didn't really see her, saw her maybe once every 2 weeks. Her attorney dropped the ball. I saw her almost 9 months later. Her recovery be a lot longer now. She's getting better, but not only does it take a toll physically, but also mentally when you can't do your normal activities.
Yes.
You don't
Yes.
understand that. It's not just the physicality, it's how does your lifestyle change? Now you feel anxious. Anxious turns into depression,
Yes.
your
And
family life, everything.
Yes, and the thing about it too is that it happens sometimes without even noticing it because it's gradually, just happening. Next thing you know, you're wondering why you can't move a certain way or you can't turn your neck this way or that way because you have pain and
Mhm.
stuff.
What affects your sleep, affects your ability to lift your kids at home, affects your ability to go to work,
Getting dressed, taking a shower, the whole thing.
the
Yeah,
quality of life for one
the
too.
whole
And,
quality.
and as a disclosure too, your service only charges the healthcare practitioner, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
Good. So you don't get paid anything from the settlement.
No, nothing whatsoever.
Perfect. This is allows me to say there's no conflict of interest. He
Yeah,
just wants to make sure you get the right place.
absolutely. That's why we provide even multiple options. We want to make it as fair as possible.
Good. And what areas do you, I guess, what states do you normally cover at this point, being January 2023?
Well, so we have mainly California is our main state.
Okay.
We have some physicians in Nevada. We have some physicians in Arizona and some
Mhm.
physicians in Texas. Those are the four total that we have. And then we're
Good.
trying to work with other networks out there. There are I'm not going to put them on here on the podcast, but there are several different networks out there that we also help and use, and they use
Mhm.
us in California, and it just becomes really more of a collaboration. But that's super helpful. I mean, to have multiple options in different states. So yeah.
Okay. So just to recap, if I'm in an accident today, how do I use your service? What's my first step?
Well, if you're in an accident today, definitely probably go to the hospital or an urgent care.
Okay.
But
Okay.
if for whatever reason you've maybe been involved in an accident before and you already have an attorney and that attorney contacts us, or let's say you contact us directly, we're able to connect you with a physician's office the same day, usually 24 hours, if not the next day.
Mhm. And then again, your website's called doctorsforaccidents.com. Okay, but everything's on the show notes too, along with your phone number, 833-999-9362.
That is correct. Yes.
Good. And give me a takeaway again, John Paul, of what's your service provide.
Well, our service for physicians is a very digital media service. It's almost like a digital or a media agency.
Mhm.
So we basically help the physicians with their marketing aspect. So making them connect with the attorneys and attorneys vice versa connecting with doctors. And we do this through different things. We do it through mixers, events, our conferences. We also do it through charity. Believe it
Mhm.
or not, there's companies out there that have different charity events and stuff like that.
Great.
And our service is just about connecting the doctors with the attorneys. It's really that simple. Yeah,
And for me, it allows the patient to have a peace of mind quickly of where to go, how to get the care, to get their pain levels to a more manageable level before it becomes a chronic issue when now
yes,
they have other emotional and psychological problems that can take a long time to heal.
exactly.
You
Yep,
escape. All
yep.
right. Quick smile for the camera, my friend. That point will do a 5 second smile. That point will get out of here in the back end. One, two,
You
three.
got it.
All right, my friend. Good the back show. Thanks for watching, my friends.
Hey, good talking to you, doctor. Take care.
How was it? How do you like it?